increase investment until 2024, amounting to 5.2 trillion rupiah, and were committed to continuing to help export car components produced in Indonesia. Apart from Honda, Suzuki is also confirmed to be committed to increasing investment by 1.2 trillion rupiah. The investment fund is used for vehicle development. Another Japanese automotive manufacturer that will increase investment in Indonesia is Toyota, where the investment value to be disbursed is $2 billion, or equivalent to 28 trillion rupiah until 2024.
Kami juga tetap harus menjaga agar investasi-investasi yang memang sudah berjalan di Indonesia, ya, itu atau program-program yang sudah berjalan di Indonesia itu masih bisa tetap berlangsung.
Previously, Mitsubishi Motor Corporation also stated that it is committed to increasing investment by 11.2 trillion rupiah by the end of 2025, with a projection of an increase in production capacity from 220,000 to 250,000 units. From Jakarta, Ade Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
Seven state-owned enterprises have signed a memorandum of understanding on the collaborations of the tourism economic ecosystem strategic program. And as our Minister Ekto here stated that the signing is expected to accelerate synergy and develop business before the establishment of the tourism and supporting holding.
7 state-owned enterprises have signed a Memorandum of Understanding on the collaboration of the Tourism Ecosystem Strategic Program. The 7 state-owned enterprises include Angkasa Pura I, Angkasa Pura II, Garuda Indonesia with Citylink, ITDC, Hotel Indonesia Natur, Sarina and Borobudur Prambanan Ratu Boko Temple Tourism Park. The Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Erick Thohir, stated that this MOU was a process of transforming cooperation before the establishment of a tourism and supporting holding company. So it is hoped that this collaboration can accelerate synergy and develop the business of each state-owned enterprises.
Dalam waktu dekat, sebanyak 7 BUMN akan semakin erat bersinergi di bawah satu holding BUMN pariwisata dan pendukung. Mudah-mudahan penggabungan ini bukan menambah birokrasi, tetapi justru mempercepat daripada sinergitas dan juga pengembangan usaha tersebut.
Erick Thohir revealed that the process of establishing a holding and supporting state-owned tourism company is still in process. The purpose of establishing the holding company is to encourage the implementation of integrated cross-sector initiatives, increase competitiveness, develop tourism infrastructure, and strengthen future funding capabilities. From Jakarta, Wicky Adrian for IDX Channel.
The collaborations of 7 state-owned enterprises in the tourism sector received support from 2 ministries. The Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy and the Minister of Transportation expressed their support and believed that these collaborations would provide value for other sectors.
The collaboration of 7 state-owned enterprises in an effort to form a new market in the tourism sector has received support from 2 ministries, namely the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy and the Ministry of Transportation. The Minister of Transportation, Budi Karya Sumadi, expressed his maximum support for the collaboration of 7 SOEs. He believes this collaboration will be able to improve infrastructure connectivity and the tourism sector in the future will become the flagship of the national economy.
Saya pikir apa yang dilakukan ini membuat BUMN ekosistem pariwisata dapat meningkatkan konektivitas infrastruktur yang merupakan prioritas nasional. Jadi saya selaku regulator sangat mendukung. Semoga apa yang dilakukan ini menjadi suatu hal yang baik dan mendapat ridho dari Allah SWT.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Sandiaga Uno, stated that he supports the collaboration carried out by 7 state-owned enterprises in an effort to form new markets in the tourism sector. Sandiaga said that this collaboration was a value creation based on an alignment of interests that focused on the tourism sector. From Jakarta, Wicky Adrian for IDX Channel.
After various global financial institutions warned about the adverse effects of the pandemic, Finance Minister Sri Mulyani confirmed that she would continue to encourage fiscal consolidations in order to minimize these effects.
Many global financial institutions have expressed the great threat of the COVID-19 pandemic to the economies of many countries in the next few years. Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani explained that the World Economic Forum estimates that countries in the world will face risks in the short, medium, and long term. Starting from the risk of asset bubbles, price instability, commodity shock, and debt crisis, as well as geopolitical risk, are things that must be anticipated. For this reason, Sri Mulyani ensured that she would continue to strive to maintain fiscal consolidation by bringing the fiscal deficit to a gradual recovery in the medium term. This is important to ensure that the health of the state budget does not create potential problems in the future.
Kita juga diberikan penugasan berdasarkan Undang-Undang Nomor 2 Tahun 2020 untuk melaksanakan konsolidasi fiskal. Di dalam menghadapi pandemi yang begitu sangat berat, di mana instrumen APBN menjadi instrumen utama, maka kita dihadapkan pada dua tugas utama yang sangat sulit: membantu dan melindungi perekonomian Indonesia serta masyarakat Indonesia.
In addition, the Minister of Finance reminded that the threat of risk in the medium term, 5 to 10 years from now, namely the climate change crisis. For this reason, she hopes that the newly appointed Ministry of Finance officials will be able to implement policies to be aware of this risk. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned. Presiden Jokowi disuntik vaksin Sinovac, pemerintah resmi menggelar vaksinasi nasional. Public figure ternama Raffi Ahmad menjadi artis atau selebritis layar kaca pertama yang mendapatkan penyuntikan vaksin Sinovac.
Vaksinasi COVID-19 ini penting kita lakukan untuk memutus rantai.
Hari ini tenaga kesehatan mulai menerima vaksinasi COVID.
Presiden Joko Widodo memiliki optimisme yang tinggi terkait dengan proses vaksinasi nasional yang sedang dilakukan saat ini. Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat dilakukan untuk bisa meningkatkan pemahaman masyarakat?
Komunikasi publik adalah kunci. Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. So as you might imagine, the process to get a company through its IPO takes big time and big guts as well. So those who want to go public have to be ready to meet the requirements. For example, have legal rights, from structure and good corporate government. But the question is, what if startup wants to gather funds through IPO but still clueless how about to achieve it. So the good thing is Indonesia Stock Exchange has run a program so-called IDX Incubator to train and develop startups to go public. And therefore, we are going to have further discussions with Aditya Nugraha as the head of IDX Incubator. Hello, sir.
Hello, Clara.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir. Indeed, the public needs to hear more about IDX Incubator in here. So could you give brief explanations on what is IDX Incubator all about?
Okay. So when we launched this IDX Incubator in 2017, we supported tech companies only. Most of them were in the validation and growth stage. So the capacity building program that we provided was focusing on product development. Our participants learned how to validate their market, create their own market research and product market fit, how to monetize the business and so on. We only gave them a brief introduction about capital market. As we all know, there are a lot of incubation programs which is similar like us. Telkom, they have Indigo. Bank Mandiri, they have Wirausaha Mandiri. Plug and Play from Silicon Valley, and so on, you name it. And also top universities, they have this similar incubation program as well. In 2019, our top management decided to change the IDX Incubators program. We would like to make this program to be more strategic in startups and SMEs ecosystem. Therefore, we shifted our program from product development to Road to IPO program. The idea is after you graduate from another incubation program out there and you want to try to access capital market for your next journey, then you can contact us. We open in 3 big cities, Jakarta, Bandung, and Surabaya. Before this pandemic due to COVID-19 virus, we provide a co-working space for our participants and we conduct our program offline.
All right, so we can conclude that IDX Incubator has 3 locations, which is located in Surabaya, Jakarta, and Bandung, as you said before. Yeah, and before the pandemic, you stated that IDX Incubator has also a co-working space for those who want to, learning how to make their companies to go IPO. What a good deed, sir. And then we'll talk about the IDX that listed about 26 potential listed companies in the pipeline of companies that will conduct an initial public offering. Is any of these companies come from IDX Incubator?
Yep, we have 3 out of 26 potential listed companies in the pipeline that come from IDX Incubator. Software as a service, lifestyle/e-commerce, and the last one is on-demand service. These companies are still in the process of IPO and listing evaluation.
Oh, still in the evaluations. Okay, then. There was a small hint from listing director of IDX that stated that there will be 3 companies from IDX Incubator that's about to launch IPO. So, yes, sir. Can you confirm about the news? Is it true? And how is the progress so far?
Yeah. These companies are still in the process of IPO and listing evaluation. After submitting the prospectus, IDX team will evaluate the document to assess its historical financial performance, to check whether there are any legal issues or not, and to get an understanding about what this company is gonna do with the proceeds from IPO. IDX team also will invite all of board of directors, board of commissioners, and supporting profession into a hearing session. So we will be able to get any information needed directly from the company. We call it the mini expose. Hopefully they can make it in this year.
All right, sir. We hope that these 3 companies will make it into the IPO pipeline. And of course, sir, we know that you stated before about the IDX Incubator, that is the participants will get the legal rights, on how to do the legal rights, and how about the structure itself. IDX Incubator will train on how these companies to train into the IPO. But then how many participants so far of IDX Incubator today?
Now we have like 120 participants in total, and about 51 participants joining our Road to IPO program. Yeah, it's quite big of numbers, concerning that we launched like 4 years ago.
All right, so 125 participants so far. And yes, public needs to hear more about this. But how about the terms of asset scale? What is the majority companies in IDX Incubator? Is it small, middle, or even high participant in a small scale?
Well, actually, we can accommodate any kind of companies from size, sectors, and so on. But yes, we are focusing on small, medium asset companies, so they'll be able to get listed at least on our acceleration board.
All right, sir. So you mentioned about how you want to boost the small, medium enterprises more than any other scale. But is there any specific program in IDX Incubator for small, medium enterprises then?
We apply this Road to IPO program for all of our participants. There are no specific differentiation for this for startups and SMEs. They can join all of the programs.
All right, sir. Then, with all the beneficials from the IDX Incubator that you give through this training to these companies to get an IPO, can you tell the terms and conditions for the companies to enter the IDX Incubator? Is there any specific requirements needs for the companies to go to IDX Incubator?
Pretty much easy, I think. First, the company must have a legal form, limited liabilities, or in Indonesia we call it perseroan terbatas, would be so much better.
Yes.
And then the second one, the company must generate revenue from its core business or businesses. And the last one is the company must have the potential for doing IPO and getting listed on IDX in the near future. That's it.
So the requirements is quite easy then. So this is a good news for the companies who want to conduct IPO but still clueless about how to achieve it. And then you can apply to IDX Incubator. And then once, sir, you mentioned about how IDX Incubator can facilitate these companies to meet the investors through mini public expos. Can you elaborate more about that?
Yeah, in this mini expos, so we will have a meeting between IDX team and the company.
Yes.
There will be a sharing session from the company about the company's profile and what they're going to do with the proceeds from IPO, and then from the supporting profession, they also will explain any concerns during their examination in this company. And the last session, there will be question and answer to make sure about this company, that this company is good enough to enter our public market.
I see. Yeah. It's more like a mini representations of what the company is all about, what the funds will be used for the company after go public. Yes, sir, that's really wonderful. Due to the limited time, so this is the end of the interview. Thank you very much for your time with us, sir. We hope nothing but the best for IDX Incubator.
Thank you, Clara, for inviting me.
Of course.
Good luck for the session.
Sure. Thank you, sir. And yes, viewers, stay with us because market headlines will be right back after this quick break.
transisi ke energi baru dan terbarukan tidak membuat industri energi fosil lantas surut, seperti apa dampaknya terhadap sektor migas?
Turunnya atau rendahnya harga minyak dan gas yang sangat drastis turunnya, adanya pandemi yang membuat terbatasnya pergerakan.
Langkah yang dilakukan apa nih Pak?
Hingga hari ini saya kira Brent hari ini sekitar 55. Ini sesuatu yang positif untuk industri yang itu kira.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. So let's take a look at Jakarta Composite Index into the movement. So earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,356.3, and then approaching the closing time in the first session, the index was on the level of 6,330.25. And then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. The index was closed at a level of 6,324.26. And in short, JCI went down 0.53%. And next, we are going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got agriculture as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 1.01%. Misc industry that went up 0.99%. Meanwhile, basic industry went down 1.25% and infrastructure went down 1.05%. And moving on to the top gainers and the top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading sessions. We got BBNI that went up 2.85%. We got Agro that went up 2.41%. We got Inco that went up 1.51%. And Adaro that went up 2.07%. Meantime, for the top losers for today's trading sessions, we got Antam that went down 3.31%. We got BBRI that went down 0.22%. We got TINS that went down 6.86%, and BBCA that went down 1.48%. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement rupiah towards US dollar. So rupiah opened at the level of 14,390. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. I was closed at the level of 14,376. In summary, rupiah went down 1.06%. Indonesia Stock Exchange with other self-regulatory organizations supported by Financial Services Authority launched digital education innovations to increase the growth in the number of retail investors, especially among academics and stakeholders.
President Director of IDX stated that the breakthrough is a response to the massive growth of new investors in early 2001 as the continuity of positive trend in 2020, which was the year of revival for domestic retail investors.
Kita berhasil meluncurkan 4 terobosan baru sebagai bagian dari inovasi edukasi digital BI, ya. Adapun terobosannya antara lain adalah IDX Virtual Tour 360. Yang kedua adalah halaman edukasi investasi di website BI dan modul SPM digital. 3 adalah kompetisi GI BI IDX GI Aton. 4 adalah galeri investasi edukasi BI dan galeri investasi digital BI.
As of February 2021, the number of Indonesian capital market investors has reached 4.5 million, or an increase of 16.35% compared to the number of investors at the end of 2020, which was 3.8 million investors. From Jakarta, Gilang Praditya, IDX Channel.
Step aside from market conditions as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role on current economic situations. Here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close on market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business and capital market channel. I'm Lantai. Have a nice evening and stay safe.